you guys ready to get back to the show? Perfect. Your next comedian comes to you all the way from Northville, but I have a feeling a few of you may already know her. Let's give a big round of applause for Audrey Meister.
Hey, yes, I do know a few people here. I spent a little time in Monroe. It's pretty awesome. I have not eaten muskrat, though. Any muskrat eaters out there? Yeah, they tell me it's a delicacy. I don't know. It's got the word rat in it. Anyway, so a fun fact about me. My grandmother was an illegal immigrant. Yeah. Woo! Yeah, go Eagles. It actually turns out it's not a big deal if you're sneaking in from Poland. Yeah, ICE is like, what's the worst they're gonna do? Start sweeping the streets, bootleg some kielbasa, create a plastic bag shortage. Yeah. So it turns out, though, she did become legal, but she never trusted the government. And for her, that included banks. Oh, I know, we got a bunch of bankers. Former bankers. And so you could always tell when she was loaded down with the pension cash because she thought all of her money should be kept safe in her bra. So her boobs would be at her hips instead of her waist. And she never had a problem with her credit score. It was always a 40 double B. But so she kept all her money in her bra, and that was really brutal for me because on a hot day, she would dig in there and whip out a wet dollar bill and tell me to go to the store and buy bread. And I'd be like this on my bike, like trying to air dry it before I got there, and it never worked. The cashiers would see me coming and they'd be like reaching for the rubber gloves. They called me Little Miss Biohazard. So Polish was her language of choice, which means that nobody knew what the fuck she was saying. And she was a little bit cranky and a little bit bold. And so she would say some pretty shitty things to people in Polish and they would have no idea. So she'd say things like, Twoje dziecko wygląda jak mężczyzna. And yeah, well, I know. And what that means is, your baby looks like a man. And people would be like, oh, the old lady loves her babies. So, yeah, she understood English though. She just chose not to speak it. And so when she did, she stuck to the 6 basic dog commands. So when I'd go to her house, I'd try to sit on the couch, she'd be like, off, down, no. So I'd go in the kitchen, she'd be like, come, sit. And then I'm done eating, ready to go, looking at the door, stay. So by the time I was 10, I could sniff my way to her slippers, and I could open a door with my head. And to this day, when I see a cookie, I jump and twirl a little, like, ooh, is that for me? Actually, she could be nice. One summer for my birthday, she gave me a necklace. It was pretty cool. It kept the fleas off me for like 9 days. So let's see, what else about me? Actually, about my husband, who unfortunately cannot be here, but he is British, and I find the Brits very confusing. Yeah. So, you know they still hang their clothes outside to dry, like on a clothesline? They do, yeah, somebody's nodding over there. They do, and it rains all the time. So their underwear is like out there hanging for days. And you know how stiff it is when it finally dries? I mean, dude, I think that explains those royal guards, right? And you think you know what you're getting when they offer you pudding? And then surprise, it's a giant pile of meat. And then if you want actual pudding, well, that's called spotted dick. Catherine, you spotted dick. Spotted dick, what's that? It's a delight. I'm like, damn, that sounds sounds more like an STD. And then his aunt said to me one time, she asked me what I thought of her tits. She said they're plumper this time of year to survive the winter. And I'm like, damn, does she keep money in her bra too? And then his uncle chimes in like, oh, I love the tits. I love to watch them fly about. I'm like, damn, these Brits sure like to overshare. And then he asked for a fag and a banger. Yeah. Turns out he wanted a sausage and a cigarette. And I'm like, damn, that kind of makes sense. Anybody know what tits are, by the way, to a British person?
Birds.
Birds, yes. They're little, round, plump songbirds, which I guess kind of makes sense too. I don't know. Anyway, so the other weird thing about Brits is that they think bagpipes are music. I know. It's like, where did they get that fucking idea? I mean, how? So here's my take on it. It was like 1000 AD or whatever, and Angus and Tavish had just finished slaughtering a sheep to provide for the winter. Angus, what do you fancy we do with the stomach? Oh, I don't know. How about we make music with it? Oh, I don't think we can. Oh, I do. I think I can. I will. I'll just poke some tubes in it and blow. Listen. So legend has it, and this is real. You can chat GPT it or whatever you want. That the Brits used to play the bagpipes to drive away demons. Yeah, and the demons were like, oh, for fuck's sake! You don't have to be such a bloody wanker about it. Fine, we'll just go. We'll go back to Kanye. He's more receptive. Actually, my husband's a bagpiper. Kilts and all, we saved a ton of money on underwear. And so, over the years, I've developed an appreciation for how hard they are to play. They're really hard to blow up. So he has amazing lung capacity. So when he kisses me, I fart, and my ass plays Amazing Grace. Send a few more of those demons straight back to Kanye. All right, so I will leave you with this, with what I learned today. What I learned today is that the blue whale has a 3.5-foot anus, which makes it the second biggest asshole on the planet, behind the people who talk on speakerphone in public. Yeah, which was today the dude, the Amazon delivery driver, and this is for real. He's on speakerphone. He's like, dang, I could sure use some warm titties right now. And I'm like, well, maybe I can introduce you to my grandma. All right, everybody, thanks.
Let's keep it on for Audrey! Now she's gonna make me feel self-conscious about my small tits and the fact that I'm broke. It's a hell of a 1-2 punch. You guys have learned so much tonight. If National Geographic doesn't start sponsoring this comedy show, you guys are missing out. Your next